Ride your Harley full throttle through the neighborhood at 3 a.m.? Might want to check your driveway in the morning. Back when we lived in our old house in a different part of town more than 10 years ago, and everyone didn't have a camera pointed at their front yard. We had a neighbor a few houses up the street that had a habit of starting up his straight pipe, Harley in the middle of the night, 1 a.m., 3 a.m., etc., then riding it full throttle out of the neighborhood onto one of the main streets, and then off to wherever he was going. Then maybe an hour later, he would come back. Same thing, full throttle. I was never sure if he was buying drugs, selling drugs, heading to a late-night poker session with his biker buddies, or what. Doesn't really matter. He would do this every few weeks, although sometimes a month or two would go by and we wouldn't hear it. And I always hoped that he either crashed, got arrested, or, God forbid, realized the error of his ways and cut that crap out. Nope. He would be back at it again just a few weeks later. He must have woken up dozens or maybe hundreds of people each time. You could hear that bike from a mile away. It would be the only sound happening in the middle of the night. Surprisingly, the cop that lived right up the street, nearly across the street from him, apparently never did anything about it. Never figured that part out. Although there are noise ordinances in this city, they don't seem to be enforced very consistently. Anyway, so after maybe a year or two of this and it happening maybe a couple of dozen times, I started to fantasize about some kind of booby trap like a cable across the road, or throwing a brick through his window, etc. Finally, I came up with an idea that seemed practical and I hoped would be effective. I waited until he did it again, and then the next morning on my way to work, I drove past his house and tossed a handful of roofing nails onto his driveway in front of his parked bike. I figured he'd get the message and cut that crap out. Nope. Not a week later he was at it again. So the morning after that, I tossed the rest of the box of roofing nails on his driveway. That seemed to get the message across. He didn't do it again after that.